Good evening and welcome to the Elmore County Commission Work Session for January 9th, 2023, and I will call this meeting to order. We'll start with a review of the minutes of the December 12th, 2022 Commission meeting. Any questions or comments from commissioners? All right, next item, a review of the memorandum of warrants for the period of December 3rd, 2022 through December 30th, 2022. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, for that period of time, the memorandum of warrants was $4,061,812.34.
All right, thank you. Any questions? All right, now we'll move on to old business. Consider three appointments to the Crenshaw Park Board. Appointments are due January the 9th, 2023. The current candidates are Ernestine Crenshaw, Figel Shuford Grant, Keith Means.
Mr. Chairman, these are all requested reappointments as well.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments from commissioners? All right, next item, we'll move on to notice of a public hearing on Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 5 p.m. to discuss proposed vacation of adjoining landowner of a portion of Lake Region Drive. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, this is just the continued notice that we're advertising for a vacation of a strip of land in front of one of the properties that is no longer being used as public right-of-way.
All right, any questions? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to new business. We're considering accepting FY 2022 Elmore County Rebuild Alabama Annual Report. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, this will be our third annual report under the Rebuild program. As many of you recall, when the fuel tax was increased and then further indexed back in 2019, it started a process where the counties were not only receiving additional revenue for roads and bridges, but also an accountability process that one of our senators, Senator Chambliss, played a major role in. So in addition to the report that you have to put forth in the summer of the year, by August 31st, you have to have your county transportation plan adopted. This is the follow-up for that plan being acted on. Currently, our plan and the report that is before you for approval tonight and reading into the minutes is a little over 21 miles of resurfacing and one bridge that was replaced with a large bridge culvert. Total cost of that work was $1.723 million. So again, this is one of about 4 steps that we provide for accountability. In addition to the county transportation plan and annual report, there's also a contractor report and a certification that our county engineer or chief engineer submits to the legislature saying that at least 50% of our monies were spent under a contract.
All right, thank you. Any questions or comments from commissioners? I would just like to add that we've spoken about this before, but as a result of us having this infrastructure funding that was made possible by the Rebuild Alabama program, we're able to do projects that have pushed up resurfacing projects and bridge projects by sometimes 8 to 10 years, which means if it had not been for that money, we would not be able to do those projects now. It would be 8 to 10 years from now. And these funds give us a better ability to protect the largest investment our taxpayers have made, and that's our infrastructure system, and also to replace some bridges that have gone well before their normal years of service. So we always want to say thank you to Senator Chambliss and Representative Reed, who are the members of our Elmore County delegation that carried this legislation that made this possible. So we continue to reap the benefits from that legislation. Moving on to the next agenda item, the next 2 agenda items are very closely related in relation to Alabama Department of Corrections and Marion Spillway Road. So I'm going to read each of these 2 items individually, and then I'm going to ask Mr. Byer if he can to comment on them together, because they will need individual action by the commission independently. The first item is consider authorizing chairman to execute the supplemental agreement with ALDOT for a Marion Spillway resurfacing project number CRSAMN 2621. The second item is consider authorizing chairman to execute MOU with Alabama Department of Corrections for Marion Spillway Road. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Marion Spillway Road between Ingram Road and 143, State Road 143, contains about 9,500 feet of county road and 3,400 feet that is owned by the Department of Corrections. That's basically the spillway and dam over at, I believe they call that Spigner Lake still, even though it's been mined for years and years. When we originally acquired money for this project and for the county's portion, the Department of Corrections was in a position where we had an agreement that expired with them, had to do with inmates being utilized by the county at no charge in exchange for work that we had done and would do on the road for them to keep the road that stretch of road maintained. The previous commissioner for DOC wasn't interested, and his staff wasn't interested in renewing that, and so when we started this project, that was an area that we were not worried about doing on the roadway. I would say back in September, not only did we have a new DOC director or commissioner, but there was a lot of maintenance issues on that stretch, and they got lit up on social media and their phones, and all of a sudden it became a priority for them again, and they worked out an agreement with y'all to do some short-term patching. This is the follow-up to where we were able to secure some funds through ALDOT, and we appreciate Mr. Cooper and his staff for putting some additional money into the project to cover the DOC portion. DOC will be paying the 20% match, which is roughly $50,000, and that is what the two agreements do, is it provides a supplemental agreement for the project funds that we receive through the MPO, and it provides for the Department of Corrections to not only authorize us to do the work, but also to reimburse us and pay the $50,000 match.
All right, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Byer?
Just a comment on this, I'm happy to see that this is happening. I received 5 phone calls in reference to Marion Spillway and reached out to Richie about the responsibility and explained that to residents. So I'm pretty sure many of our citizens in Elmore County will be happy to see that this is happening. So thank you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Excuse me. Unless you have looked at a map or are real familiar with the area, that side of the county, as a result of Mortar Creek that runs one direction and the railroad that runs in that area, if we have a problem with Highway 14 or one of the two crossings in the town of Elmore across the railroad track, the only routes east and west are Bellingraph Road and Marion Spillway Road, unless you literally go through Wetumpka and back up north of Montgomery or go down Deansville Highway. You can, there's another direction if we just have a problem with Highway 14 and the railroad, but those are two vital links for our first responders and, of course, our citizens. And that having to utilize those two routes has happened, I can say, within the last 5 years that I can remember when we had a problem. So I'm encouraged to see us upgrade Marion Spillway Road for sure. All right, any other comments? Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Byers, you had mentioned, as you were explaining this to us, that we one time had an agreement with DOC to utilize inmates to work for us. I understand they've stopped doing that.
That's right. That's one reason they weren't interested in renegotiating any kind of agreements, because at the time, they had completely ceased all inmate traffic going out to do anything like that. And we have, now that we've been without them for a long period of time, it's almost to the point where it probably isn't worth our while to do that. It's easier for us to try to work with Sheriff Franklin and do what we need to do with inmates that way. But they still didn't necessarily, even though Commissioner Ham with DOC is interested in working with us, it's still very cumbersome for us to even try to negotiate that and handle it. So this way they're paying for it in the match and the cash. So this will be a lot cleaner for us when we get the improvements done. And if in the future it turns around, I think we'll have a feather in our cap to have that agreement put back in place.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions? All right, the next item is approve a travel memorandum. And then we'll move on to personnel notifications. Notification of promotion of Kelly Williams, analyst, effective 12/13/2022. Notification of hire of Devin Darden, corrections officer, replace N. Watson, effective 12/18/2022. Notification of resignation of Kyle Johnston, Correction Officer, effective 12/19/2022. Notification of resignation of Josiah Bush, Corrections Officer, effective 12/19/2022. Notification of hire of David Salom, Corrections Officer, replaced Jay Tidwell, effective 12/20/2022. Notification of hire of Melanie Chastain Smith, Dispatcher, Tier 2, replaced G. Coffin, effective 1/1/2023. Notification of transfer of Chad Wood, Mechanic 2, to Corrections Officer, replace A. Ryans, effective 1/3/2023. Notification of hire of Bradley Amerson, Part-Time Corrections Officer, effective 1/3/2023. Notification of hire of Nicolette Harrell, Tag Clerk, replace S. Stewart, effective 1/3/2023. We'll now move to reports to the commission. Mr. Byer?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I just have two items for you this evening. One of them, the first one's rather lengthy, and it's about the recent tornado storm cleanup events that we've been dealing with. First of all, I want to mention the Willow Springs, Jasmine Hill New Quarters event that we suffered before the end of 2022. Again, luckily, no serious injuries or fatalities in that event, but we've been working about 6 weeks on cleanup on that event. Our trucks have hauled somewhere around 3,100 cubic yards of material away, and we still have the rest of this week at minimum to finish that project. One reason I mention that is the event that we had last week on January 3rd, the EF2 tornado that hit in Holtville, Titus. Depending on whose eyes look at it, you're anywhere from 2 to 4 times the amount of debris in a small area of geography there. Most of the damage is on the Titus side. Currently, the county public works operations, now that the clearance has been done and people can get in and out, and utilities can get in and out, they are doing their best to try to work on finishing the Willow Springs, Jasmine Hill areas first. And that also gives the residents and utility companies the ability to get everything, get it to the right of way, even though those areas are very, very tight, and minimize the amount of times that the county public works staff goes through there trying to clean up debris. Typically, especially during a massive event like that in a certain area, you'll see a debris come multiple times to the right of way. So we're trying our best to be as efficient as possible. So if any of you get calls, I know Commissioner Hines has spoke to us today about it, but get calls about why we're not out there. It's kind of trying to let some of the recovery happen to where then we can get in there and clean it up and be done at one time. Damage assessments by our EMA were done last week. They finished those on Friday. I think I forwarded y'all a report from Keith, but just in summary, out of the 45 structures that were surveyed in the path of the tornado, 16 of those would be what I would say or have something severe to them. That would be 8 with minor damage, 6 with major damage, and 2 totally destroyed. Out of the other, the remaining structures, you had 25 that were not affected at all, and then 4 that were, by the EMA terms, affected, meaning they've got some cosmetic minor damage and maybe missing a shingle or 2. Most of the damage is over, like I said, on the Titus area, Titus side, Island, Gladys, Circle Lane, and as I mentioned, we're going to do our best to try to do as minimal passes as we can to try to get everything cleaned up. We probably will not make it in one pass, but we'll do our best to try to get it as close as that as possible. There has been some questions about debris in the lake. There were several of the structures that had debris from the home sites that were dumped in the lake. Our EMA office has been in communication with state EMA and running that up the flagpole. I know in 2011, a couple commissioners will remember that event and how up on Lake Martin there was a massive amount of debris that was dumped in Lake Martin, and that was an action that was handled by state EMA and the Corps of Engineers when they were in here doing cleanup. So we're going through that same process as well. So the second item I wanted to bring up, well, before I go to the next item, staff did an amazing job during that time frame. I know a number of you probably will attest to that. Not only the EMA staff, Public Works, the volunteers that we have come in, our dispatchers, our public safety. So as we can always learn from every event, We've got things that we could do better, but at the same time, we did a very good job, and I'm very complimentary of the staff. The ones that weren't in the EOC or out on the road were sitting there on go, ready to take somebody's spot if they were needed, and they filled in when called upon. So I think that's a very great thing for us. The second item is in front of you and on the easel there, and that is our county infrastructure plan, our city-county infrastructure plan. Back in the late summer, we met with all our municipalities and adopted projects that they wanted to see. Either they knew that were going to happen in the next 12 to 24 months, or projects they wanted to see to fruition. And so last week, we were able to get the last signature from our mayors. So this is pretty unique in the state in the instance that we've got all 8 of our municipalities signed on to it. ACETA, our Board of Education's participated in the process as well, so there's projects on there about them as well. This is our 7th iteration of this plan, but this is the first one that has all our quality of life projects integrated into road and bridge type projects. So I think that's something very unique for our county. I know our delegation members, especially Senator Chambliss, he loves it. He thinks it's the model that everybody ought to be using. And I think it's something that the commission should take every opportunity to talk about, because not many times are you going to get 8 municipalities, 2 boards of educations, ACETA, and the county commission to all be singing about the type projects that you want to do and pushing forward with it. This, like I said, this included a bunch of quality of life projects as well. This is probably something that we will get to where we address that more frequently. I think the last time we had done that was almost 4 years ago. I think that's something that we need to be in a mode that we address more frequently and update those projects. You'll see on that map, for example, a lot of our rebuild projects are on there for 22 and 23. So that's another good flashpoint for us to be able to go back and revisit that more often. Is in the past, we wouldn't put those type projects on there, mainly because we weren't doing that many local road projects at the time. We were doing them sparingly as money came available. Now we've got, us and the cities both have that recurring source that'll help us do more road projects. So this is also an item that I'd like to talk to y'all offline about the segment we did the other day, the conversations with the commission, and see if this is something that some of y'all are interested in getting in front of a video camera and talking to the public about things that are going on not only in your district but countywide in your area of expertise. So, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have in the way of report. Y'all have any questions or comments for me?
Any questions for Mr. Byer? We appreciate that report. All right, now we'll move on to reports from commissioners. Commissioner Hines?
Thank you, Chairman. First, I want to thank Mr. Byer and his staff. Let me tell you, they were on it from the afternoon through the night. My phone was steadily ringing, as y'all's were too, of them keeping us updated, especially in my district, because District 1 got hit real hard. Coming across from 143 Coosa River Road to Blackwell's, picking up speed and going across to the Titus side was hit real hard as an F2 tornado. Talking to the Weather Service, they said there was 11 tornadoes, I understand, in the area, 8 immediately in our area. That's a lot of tornadoes and a lot of damage that was done. And as Mr. Byer said, it's already taken us close to 7 weeks to clean up our last one that came through. And this one here is, like he said, I'm saying 2 to 3 to 4 times more debris over there, because it's a lot of trees that are down up through there and a lot of structure damage that's handled. But the big thing is that I just want to thank our EMA department, keeps here tonight. The response from the neighbors, I rode the area all week long, and everywhere I went, they were complimentary on how quick all of the departments were there. Our EMA, our highway department was sitting on notice, and we're out there opening the roads because 4 roads were totally shut down up there, and they had to clear them and get them out. And within 24 hours, I believe it was, if I not correct me, Mr. Byer and Luke, but we had the roads open. Some of them were single lanes, but people could get by. Utilities could get in. And that adds to the power company and Central Alabama Co-op they were on the scene immediately, putting new poles up, getting the power back on to people, and that was huge. And our sheriff's department was working hand in hand with each one of the departments, riding, making sure that no one was looting up to that area, because that's always tough this time when storms hit. People like to ease around, and they were helping out with blocking the roads so utility trucks could get their work done, and which brings up the volunteer fire departments. I don't think we could have made it without them. Every one of the departments were on the spot with their chainsaws, with their trucks, with their volunteers, and they didn't care if it was raining and storming, because I was standing out there with them, and they were directing traffic and pulling trees off of houses and checking on, going to door, making sure that everyone was out and safe. And that's something we'd be proud of in Elmore County from our volunteer fire departments. And all the other volunteers that were neighbors and friends and relatives that came in to people's rescue. It was just a proud moment for me to ride out there and see how quick a response that everybody was and helping each other. And the biggest thing was the good Lord blessed us because no one was hurt. Maybe some minor scratches here or there, but we had no reports of no one that was hurt bad. But I guess if they'll just, our residents will please be patient with our cleanup from our highway department, and that's something that it's just going to take time because we have been hit back to back. But again, I want to thank my fellow commissioners for checking on me because it come right down my alley. And that's great to get phone calls and say, hey, you okay? And that just shows our partnership and everybody working and checking with each other. And I want to thank all of our commissioners for all their hard work on this because my district did get hit hard, and I appreciate everything they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hines. Commissioner Daughtry?
Just a big thank you to Richie and our EMA department, Luke and the Sheriff's Department, the entire staff, everybody involved. I echo everything Commissioner Hines has said. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
I had a discussion with Mr. Dennis, Superintendent of Elmore County Schools, last week, and just to let everybody know, they're planning a STEM competition the 21st of January. Time right now has been set from 8 to 4, and they wanted everybody to know, and you're welcome to drop by and see what's going on and see what the kids are accomplishing.
All right, thank you for that report. Commissioner Lewis Jackson?
Thank you, Chairman. I wanted to just echo what Commissioner Hines and Commissioner Daughtry said, but I wanted to personally say thank you to the best EMA, in my opinion. Thank you so much, Keith, for everything you do, seriously, with email updates so that we can inform our citizens here in Elmore County of all the dangers. And even with opening shelters and anything of that, we're able to let our citizens know where they can seek shelter so we don't have another, what year was that, 2021? Was that when we got hit really bad? That ever happen again. Thank you to all of our police, firefighters, power companies, Alabama Power and CAEC. They got the power turned back on real quick. We appreciate all the line companies. And they're not here tonight, but I wanted to thank Elmore Otaga News. They are a good source of information to help spread what the commission wants to send out to all of our residents. And they're a good media source, and they help to spread the message and let our citizens know. Going on around in the district this weekend, the Elmore Civic Improvement League will be hosting an MLK banquet on Sunday from 3 to 5. I believe, commissioners, you all received an invite. That, of course, is an organization here in Elmore County, and if any citizens would like to attend, it's this Sunday. And then following Sunday on Monday at AME Rogers Chapel at 10, they're going to start the MLK March, which will proceed through downtown to the MLK Center. Thank you, Chairman. That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Commissioner. I have two things to report on tonight myself. In my capacity of working closely with the Economic Development Authority, I wanted to report we have two fishing tournaments coming into the county this week. The first is going to be an Alabama Crappie Masters tournament. They will launch from Cooters Pond and fish the Alabama River. And the second one is going to be the Alabama Bass Federation Junior High School qualifying tournament. They will be launching from the state ramp, and they'll be fishing Lake Jordan. Collectively, these two tournaments will bring about 110 boats into our county this weekend, probably starting Friday. So all these guys will be pre-fishing, and there will be 2 to 3 anglers per boat. we've discussed in the past the efforts we have to bring these tournaments to our county. They benefit our local economy, our retailers, our restaurants, in the form of course, them spending money there, them buying, renting hotel rooms, purchasing gas, and so it's a major impact for our county, and we appreciate ACETA and their effort they put into attracting these tournaments to our county and also hosting them while they are here in the county. The city of Wetumpka will be partnering with ACETA on the high school tournament, and we appreciate their involvement as well. I also just like to echo what my other commissioners have said in relation to the response to the storm event this past week. And when you hear these people that are listed, these organizations, our county EMA, our public works, our commission staff, our fellow commissioners, our utilities, especially our volunteer fire departments, because those are the ones out there, they don't get paid anything to do what they do. And we stand out there in the road, on the side of the road with our citizens and in the rain when this takes place, or over at the Emergency Operations Center, and our sheriff's department's out there helping us as well. That's a lot of people to respond. I guess it was last week when I went to the ELC that afternoon, there was Keith already had 20 people in the ELC, the Emergency Operations Center. Each represented some organization that we would need to reach out to help get citizens to the services that they need. And that was a very small percentage of the number of people that were out in the field, out in the affected area. So just always remember when we have an event come through and impact Elmore County, it takes a lot of good people to get the services to our citizens, and we are really, really blessed to have that here in our county. And we really appreciate what they do. All right, so now I will call on Ms. Brittany for important calendar dates.
On Monday, January 16th, the administrative complex will be closed in observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Our next commission meeting will be Monday, January 23rd at 5 p.m. with a business meeting immediately following. Thursday, February 1st at 6 p.m. is the ACCA district meeting in Prattville. On Monday, February 6, 2023, will be a commission work session at 5 p.m. with a business meeting immediately following.
All right, thank you. We will reconvene shortly for our business meeting. Good evening and welcome to the Elmore County Commission meeting for January 9th, 2023. I will call this meeting to order. We'll start by asking Commissioner Hill to offer an invocation, and then I will ask Commissioner Daughtry to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Hill.
Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you've given us. And now, Father, as we come here to do the county's business, Lord, I pray that you will just give us wisdom and guide us as we make the decisions we need to make. And Lord, be with us during this time. Now, Father, we pray that you'll keep us safe. And Lord, just be with us. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Ms. Brittany, if you'll still, please call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hines?
Here.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Here.
Chairman Mercer?
Here.
Commissioner Hill? Here. Commissioner Jackson?
Here.
Thank you. We'll begin with regular business. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the December 12th, 2022 commission meeting?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Brittany, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill? Yes. Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the memorandum of warrants for the period December 3rd, 2022 through December 30th, 2022?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Brittany, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
All right, now we'll move on to old business. Is there a motion to appoint Ernestine Crenshaw, Figel Shuford Grant, and Keith Means to the Crenshaw Park Board?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Brittany?
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Now to new business. Is there a motion to approve or deny accepting FY 2022 Elmore County Rebuild Alabama Annual Report?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Ms. Brittany?
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve or deny authorizing chairman to execute the supplemental agreement with Aldott for the Marion Spillway Resurfacing Project, project number CRS AMN-2621?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Brittany?
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve or deny authorizing chairman to execute MOU with ADOC for Marion Spillway Road?
Motion approved.
Second.
Ms. Brittany?
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the consent docket as presented in the work session?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ms. Brittany, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
We will forego any additional reading of the personnel notifications. Are there any other reports to the commission?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ms. Brittany?
Commissioner Hines?
Yes.
Commissioner Daughtry?
Yes.
Chairman Mercer?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
We are adjourned.